The film starts with a dramatic sequence. Maverick, a father, is explaining things to his children, Star and Seven. He described how black people survive in America. They were trained how to act if they were stopped by the police for no apparent cause. Nonetheless, Mauve reminds them that being black is an honor. They only need to learn their rights and protect their dignity. Seven is 10 years old, and Star is 9. However, they had been informed of their fate as black people. To cut a long tale short, Star grew up. This family developed into a joyful one. They reside in Garden Heights, which is a mostly black neighborhood. Mauve earns money by starting a mini market. He used to be a drug dealer, but now he owns a store. Star and Seven both went to Garden Heights High School. Since the school there was so horrible, Lisa, their mother, relocated them to an exclusive school in the Williamson area. Star is unable to be herself since she attends this school. Here, she had to abandon black people's behaviors, beginning with how to communicate, how to get along, and even how to avoid conflict. Her best pals here are Haley and Maya. If a white student harassed her, they were always there to protect her. She does have a boyfriend. They've been dating for 6 months. This young man's name is Chris. The guy is the nicest thing about this school for her. Nonetheless, many rich white students regarded the situation with suspicion. And, most likely, she was perplexed as to why Chris would ask her, a black girl, to be his girlfriend. The next day, she went to a party with her pals, Kenya. Kenya is likely Seven's sister or the daughter of Mauve's ex-wife. Even so, they remained friends. While at the party, Star notices Khalil's presence. He is her childhood friend. Even Khalil's grandmother used to be her babysitter when she was a kid. Since they had not seen each other for a long time, they asked each other about how they were doing. While they were chatting, there were people fighting at the party. So, a gunshot was heard and caused everyone to come out. The party was over. Khalil immediately asked Star to go in his car. In the car, they talked to each other. He used to be a poor boy, until one day, his grandmother was unilaterally fired from the hospital. His grandmother had cancer, so he had to change his profession to become a drug dealer. This worried Star. There, Khalil also discussed his life views, which were influenced by Tupac, a rapper who frequently motivates black people via his song lyrics. That hatred they experienced as children would lead to rebellion as they got older. They were stopped by police officials on the way. Mauve has taught Star about the black way of life since she was a small child. She quickly placed her hand on the car's dashboard. As a result, the officer could see her hand. But Khalil was obstinate. He didn't want to do it. Star eventually compelled him not show his driver's license since she thought they had done nothing wrong. This officer eventually urged Khalil to get out of the car. Star had intended to film this encounter, but she was terrified. When the police verified the driver's license, Star searched for her smartphone, which had fallen and ruffled Khalil's car. When she noticed Khalil was calm, she urged him to continue performing what the cops had instructed him to do. Khalil then got the comb from inside the car, and this officer shot him instead. Star was astounded. Other than a comb, there were no weapons. She was in tears because Khalil died on the scene after being wounded by numerous gunfire fired by cops. Following the event, she accompanied Lisa and Mob to the police station. Detectives Gomez and Willie interrogated her. This investigator should be questioning about the time frame, yet they frequently inquire about Khalil's true identity. What did Khalil do? Is Khalil a user or not? And so on. However, there is no doubt about who killed Khalil. Carlos, Star's uncle, quickly urged them to stop the interrogation. Carlos, also a police officer. Star was traumatized by this tragedy since she witnessed the death of her friend. Fortunately, Mauve is usually around his daughter. Surely the chances of justice for Khalil are so small. Carlos says if Mauve can't trust the system, at least he can trust him. While at school, Star was down. Will she be considered a tyrannical black girl if she tells that her black friend was killed by the police? She chose to remain silent and behaved as usual in this school. Even when Haley asked, she still chose to silent because she didn't know what her friend's response is. One afternoon, Star and Kenya went to a cafe. While ordering food, they watch a news broadcast about Khalil's death and the fact that he was killed by a cop. The news has spread in the community, and on the news, Khalil's mother demanded justice for her son. Kenya complains about how the media portrays Khalil's mother, perhaps because she was black. Kenya then asks Star whether she intends to tell everyone the truth. Star, on the other hand, was still thinking about it. Besides, her parents had forbidden her from telling anybody. Kenya's father, King, arrived at the same time. He motioned for them to get inside the car. He was the biggest drug dealer in the region. Mob was once one of his closest friends. King informs Star in the car that he knows what happened to Khalil. He stated that seeing the occurrence was really difficult for him, but it will be more difficult to forget. He advised Star to go on with her life. After dropping off Star, Mauve speaks with an old buddy, King. He discussed their current situation. Then King advises Mauve not to inform the police that Kalo works for him. Star would be in big danger. He encouraged Star to forget about the event before departing. Lisa, who is at home listening to Mauve's narrative, notices King poised to threaten Star. King implied that if Star contacted the authorities about Kalo's jobs, he might harm their daughter. Then she requested that Mauve move for the sake of their family. However, according to Mauve, King will not trouble them. Like when he decided to leave the drug business. It was Kalo's funeral day. While Star was getting dressed, Mauve approached her. Star describes Kalo's attitude on life. That whites would always have a negative attitude towards blacks. That the law was written against black people. Mauve explains why there are so many black drug traffickers. Because they need money. However, black individuals accidentally enter a vicious loop. Becoming a dealer appears to be a viable option for escaping poverty. However, drugs are also destroying the black generation. He didn't want to make the same mistake again. He aspires to be a positive role model for his children. While at church, Star couldn't help but cry when she saw Kalo's body lying in the coffin. Everyone was present at the mass, including King and his family. At that time, the priest invited someone who wanted to say something. A woman named April came to the stage. She is a lawyer from Jazz for Justice. She said that the police had no intention of properly punishing the officer who shot Kalo. Although there are credible witnesses, she invited everyone to take a peaceful demonstration to the police station after the mass was over. Her words sent energy to the congregation, who were present to fight for justice. Before returning to her seat, she looked at Star. It was as if she had invited Star along too. When it was over, there was already a group of people getting ready to protest at the police station for justice for Kalo. Worried that this peaceful demonstration will end in chaos, Mauve invites all his family members to go home. It brings disappointment for companions, because they should have joined too. In accordance with Mauve's prediction, when the news showed the protest on TV, the peaceful demonstration turned violent, resistance against the police, until it is unavoidable. The news also caught Chris's attention to find out what had happened. He immediately called Star to ask if she and the other family were safe or not. At the same time, their house's guests. It turned out to be April. She had come to speak with Star. April said that Star's statement would strengthen the allegations against Bryant, the cop who killed Kalo, and ensure that he got what he deserved. That's why Star had to pop up everywhere. On television, social media, or the streets. Mauve approves, but not with Lisa. She didn't want Star's disclosure to have any negative consequences for her kid. April was speechless when she heard that. Before she went, Star shared her painful memories of her closest friend, Natasha, being shot dead by someone, one of King's members, when she was just a kid. Perhaps they're blocking the path. Natasha was killed by the bullet. In reality, she was aware of the culprit, but she opted to keep silent at the moment. She had to be in the same situation right now, and she had no idea what to do. After hearing the story, April stated that Star might phone her at any moment if she changed her mind. Next day, when she arrived at school, she was surprised to find the school closed. She was becoming even more stunned when she heard that the students were coming out to protest Kalo's justice. It's basically an excuse for students to skip school, avoid math tests, or simply have fun outside. She felt ill because of it. She then requested that Carlos pick her up from school. Then Carlos took her to her mother's workplace, a hospital. She informed her mother that she would speak on Kalo's behalf, so they headed to the TV station that night. She was interviewed in a section while accompanied by April. She spoke with a blurred face. However, when interviewed, she was too led to tell who Kalo really was, instead of asking about her confession. So, she said that Kalo was forced to become a dealer under a man named King in the Garden Heights area. This was watched by King and his family at home. But after that, Star bravely interrupted by veering the conversation towards the shooting incident. After that, the family went out to have dinner. While they were chatting, Star saw King waiting for them outside. Mob jumped into action. He then came out and directly confronted King. But before they fight, King and his members choose to leave because the police are coming. Only Mauve was there alone. The police immediately accused Mauve of dealing drugs. Then the police searched him, but the police found nothing from him. Even though Lisa gave Mauve's ID to the police still wouldn't let him go. So, there was resistance given by his family. Star also took out her cell phone to record. Everyone else in the restaurant did as well. The police then release Mauve, and they decide to return home. When she returned home, Star apologized to her mom, saying she should have remained quiet, and that she didn't need to appear on TV. Mauve instructs his children to form a line in the yard. He inquired once again about their rights as black people. Childhood lessons learnt by Seven and Star. Mauve advises Star to speak up if she is ready and not to allow others quiet her. When Star was playing with Haley at Maya's house, they were watching an Asian TV show when the news about Bryant came on. The narrative shifts to Bryant's side. According to reports, the Black people issue where Bryant was placed was renowned, with violence, murder, and narcotics. Bryant's parents even stated that their son was a nice boy. He's only doing his job. When Haley saw the news, she voiced her worry for Bryant. Those remarks left Star speechless. Why did Haley say it, and why did she defend Bryant over Carlo? He supported it at his school protest yesterday. What else? Haley stopped following Star on social media after he began posting injustices against Black people. They disagreed, and their friendship suffered as a result. Another day, one afternoon, Star told her mother why she and Haley fought. While Haley was one of her best friends in high school, aside from Maya, her mother urged her not to worry too much about it. She encouraged Star to forgive her friend and go about her life as usual if the positives surpassed the negatives after being friends with Haley. But if not, then just let it go, said Lisa. One night at prom night, Chris asked Star about her TV interview. He said he knew the obscured figure was Star. Chris simply asked if Star knew Carlo. He wanted to empathize with what Star was going through. But in fact, Star's experience had to watch two of her little friends die in front of her, beyond what Chris could have imagined. She also said that was the reason why did their mother send her and Seven to Williamson, because to protect their children. She also said that she had to be two versions of herself. At home, she can't be a Williamson kid, and when she's at Williamson, she can't be a Garden Heights kid. That night, Chris bravely drove Star and Seven home to meet Star's parents. Quite unexpectedly, when they arrived, Mauve even considered him a driver. Lisa, on the other hand, is a different story. She turned out to know Chris and greeted him warmly. Mauve is still unable to accept it, so that makes Chris feel uneasy and would rather go home. Mauve is truly irritated because he is the only one who is unaware that Star has a white boyfriend. However, Star was eventually able to explain it to Mauve. Suddenly, they are startled by gunfire that goes into their house. Because of the interview on TV yesterday, King's men are still attacking Star because they are fearful. As a result, they decided to flee to Carlo's home. All of the members have arrived, but Mauve wants to return to his home because he wanted to do some maths with King. Likewise, Seven chose Mauve. They both returned home and waited. When King returned, they were on standby. Mauve needs to safeguard his family. In the morning, at breakfast, Carlos spoke to Star. According to Carlos, some individuals do not believe this situation to be a crime, but the raid may have gone wrong. Officers' vigilance in halting cars on the side of the road is not to blame. Officers will not hesitate to shoot if the driver is defiant and keeps the door or window open. However, Carlos' response disappointed Star because such operating norms only apply to Black people. The trial day has begun. Star will testify in front of a jury. The bulk of the jurors were, predictably, Caucasian. She handled the trial quietly. She clearly detailed all of her testimony. The next day, Haley visited Star when she was at school. She was still unaware that she had been racist all along. She thought Star was different because she was never threatening, unlike Carlo, the drug dealer. Hearing this, Star immediately took a comb from Haley's bag and asked if this looked like a weapon. Haley replied, "It looked like a gun in Carlo's hand." Hearing this, Star was furious. Chris came over and tried to calm and upset Star. At the same time, Star gets a message from Kenya that Seven was beaten by King. She, along with Chris, ventured into King's house to pick up Seven. Luckily, King wasn't home. King's wife were at home then tried to protect them. She told them to leave quickly before King returns. When they are on the road, there have been many protests demanding justice for Carlo. They protested at the city hall, casting time because the jury's verdict said Bryant was innocent. And there will be no further trial because Bryant escaped punishment. Star decided to join in on the action. She instructed Chris to drive Kenya and her brother to a secure location. In the meanwhile, she will join the protesters. They were stopped by police with full weaponry before reaching City Hall. Take a look at how things are heating up. She chose to speak in front of everyone. She claimed to be the most important witness. She reassured the protesters that their acts were correct. For the sake of justice, regardless of how loud they yell, whatever they are attempting to fight for, the cops continued to refuse to listen. People who are just armed with enthusiasm will be terrified of the fully armed cops. When tear gas was deployed, the throng quickly dispersed. The community was moved back. Star was forced to move the badly injured Seven, with the assistance of his pal Mauve. They approached Mauve's the shop to look for milk to relieve the effects of tear gas searing their eyes. They were then left. While the herd is shouting for Mauve to come to the shop, King who saw Star's presence from distance, seized the chance. He instructs his minions to set fire to Mauve's business so that Star might be killed there. Fortunately, there were neighbors who observed what was going on and promptly ran to help those who were trapped inside. When Mauve, Carlos, and Lisa arrived, they got them out the back door. When King sees the scenario, he instantly plans to beat up Mauve, but an unexpected event occurs. Mauve drops his gun, which is discovered to be in the hands of Sekani. To defend his father, Star's younger brother aimed a gun at King. Star took off right away. She didn't want the cops shooting her brother. She made everyone realize how long something like this had to continue. At this point, the cycle must be broken. Now after the incident, Mauve plans to rebuild his damaged shop. Meanwhile, King has been arrested for setting fire to Mauve's business, thanks to efforts from the local community. Police were ultimately able to apprehend King. Since King's arrest, Garden Heights has been a safe area. 7 completed high school and prepared to attend college.